And we are live. Hello, everybody. I am so glad you are here to join us in the chat. I am so excited that you are here with us. And tonight we are going to talk about how to be able to put a meal on the table regardless of what you've got. And Leona, I'm just going to say this. Before I say that, and with me is my sister from another mister, Miss Leona from Ebony, Ivy, and Time. And one of the things that I've been doing, I've been looking at a lot of videos that talk about making meals for $2 or meals on an extremely tight budget. Mm-hmm. And some of the meals I've seen people made, I'm like, I would not eat that. However, when you get hungry enough, you will eat anything. And you know, I don't like fish, but if I got hungry enough, I might be forced to eat some fish. So what I would like for us to be able to do tonight is share with our audience how to use what they've got to make something that's appealing. So instead of their kids saying, I'm not going to eat that, hopefully we can give them some ideas on how to make something appealing. Mm-hmm. And then I was watching Cassandra from Becoming a Farm Girl the other day, and you know, I just love her.
I do too.
And she, you know, she's so dramatic sometimes. And she said, I'm just going to say it. Y'all need to be able to cook without a recipe. And absolutely. I was like, boom. Absolutely.
That's it.
And, you know, there's some things you will use a recipe for. Right. But there are some things you just need to be able to look in that pantry and figure it out without a recipe. So, Leona, I want you to share with our viewers the story you were sharing with me earlier today when you were trying to figure out what's for dinner.
Oh my goodness. Well, for everyone, hello everyone. So glad to be here. As you can tell, I'm not in my usual spot, and that's because of the fact that I am here for the week with my granddaughter. So it's a little wild here. And, you know, when children have been raised by different parents with different ideas about food, and granddaughter comes in.
Do that.
Yeah, she's quick to let me know, no, I don't eat that. And what she does do. So what I've tried to do is to be fairly reasonable. And so I told her, I said, okay, this is what we have. I showed her several items that we had from the pantry that I had pulled out and the refrigerator. And we had chicken already cooked. We had green beans. And she said, what kind of green beans? She wanted to know how big they were, how fat they were, you know, so she picked out her green beans. And I thought, oh, Lord, have mercy. And when she went off on that, and then from there, she wanted potatoes. Well, her papa had said, let's do some baked potatoes. She said, I don't like baked potatoes. So that ended that. So then I pulled out this bag of potatoes, and I thought, okay, well, I'll see if I could nudge her into the baked potatoes. No, I had to make mashed potatoes. So I make the mashed potatoes. I get them going. And she looks at me very prim and proper and says, well, where's the gravy? I said,
you know, what? I love gravy.
What kind of gravy? She says the gravy like my mother makes. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, well, what in the world does mom make? And so, you know, so here I am. So I made the gravy. And unfortunately, there were a couple of things that I would normally make gravy with that we didn't have. So I had to make it with what we did have. And so the color was not perfectly beautiful brown as she liked it. So she had to take it a little lighter brown. And she looked at it and she said, well, this isn't mom's gravy. And I said, taste it. It's as close as you can get. And so she tasted it and she said, well, it tastes like gravy. I said, okay, we're good. So we make the plate, we get to the potatoes. And I said, well, where do you want your gravy? She said, well, I'd like for the gravy to be on my potatoes. And I said, okay. So I said, how much gravy do you want? She said, oh, just a little bit. So I go and I get a little teeny spoon. I put a little bit of gravy on these potatoes. And don't you know, she looks at those potatoes and she says, it's too much gravy. So I had to take all the gravy off the mashed potatoes, put it off on the side. Needless to say, there was smoke coming out of my ears at this point because I had just spent way too much time trying to get one plate ready. So I tell you what, the things grandmothers do for
Yes.
their grandchildren, it's amazing just to get them to eat.
And it really is, because when our children were little, there's no way we would have went through all of that.
Oh,
It'd have been like, look, you're gonna eat this.
That's it.
But I will admit, I'm a little bit more tender with my grandchildren as well. But then we have learned some things over
Yes.
time.
Yes,
We have learned some things over time. So, and I wanted you to share that story just because you were in a different place and you had to come up with a meal based on what she had, meaning the lady of the house had in her kitchen. And then the people in the house that was going to eat the food are not necessarily used to eating it the way you might prepare it. They might come for Thanksgiving, and of course they want a little bit of everything, or they can pick or choose. But it's a whole lot different when you're preparing dinner and this is all that's on the table. So what I wanted us really to talk about tonight was how to be able to look in your pantry and make a meal. And one of the things I want to start with that you and I both have is our 20-item pantry grocery haul. No, 20-item capsule grocery haul. And I think you have 2 grocery hauls.
I do.
You have basic pantry staples. And so that's what I want us to talk about tonight. So before I get started, let me just jump in and say hello to some folks, because some folks been here for a while. And
I know, I love it.
So thank you guys for that. And one of the questions that I put in early was, what's your go-to meal when you have nothing to cook? And then we have T who's saying she finally gets to catch a live.
Yeah.
And then you're asking, are you putting meals together without a recipe? And then share yours. And then we've got Hazel. And Hazel, Leona has been putting up those pictures of that lovely, lovely bread. And then we've got Dolores from Seattle. And then T is here from Western New York.
Okay.
And then we've got Molly. And see Hazel's there. Tamika. There's Tamika and Michelle. And your baby Tam, part of 6 here. And then we've got Ann, and I think Ann is in the UK, I believe.
She is.
And then we've got Luan from Hawaii.
Yay.
And she says, yes, you get hungry enough, you eat whatever's put in front of you. And this is absolutely true. But what I don't want to have happen is for us to have to eat what's put in front of us that we don't like. And
Absolutely.
so this is something that I always keep in mind. This is a cup of cat food. And when I was a young housewife, I was young at one time, folks. I wasn't always 70 plus. When I was a young housewife, there was a scandal of older adults eating cat food because they just didn't have money for food. And I remember seeing an older couple standing in front of the meat counter. They were having this big discussion. They had this little thing of meat in their hand about this big. Now, to my mind, now I couldn't hear them, but in my mind, they were trying to decide whether or not they could afford it. It probably was something completely different. But I remember saying to myself right then and there, when I get old, I'm going to have food on my table and heat in my house. That was going to be non-negotiable. So when the weather gets cold outside and it's a little chilly, my husband turns the heat down to 68. I'm like, no, you need to turn that heat up. So it's like food on the table and heat in the house. Now, this is Archie's cat food. And I just wanted to bring that out to show. But also, if you have pets, you got to have your pet food as well. But here's the thing. So let's kind of talk about how we can have some pantry staples and put some things together with it. So I thought I would start with meat. We would have a base and then talk about how to go from there, if that's okay. So you want to have so you want to start with the base of some kind of protein. And that protein can be tofu. If tofu is frozen, it can be tofu. It could be chicken, hamburger, ground beef. It could be some kind of frozen meat, whatever it is you want to have. It could be canned meat. What you got there?
It can be beans.
And they can be beans.
Oops.
So Those can be the things that you start with. And if you guys checked out my video yesterday, it was Taco Tuesday. And so I made a taco bowl and I had tofu for the taco meat. So I had taco meat. And but on that plate, I also had rice. I had black beans. I had corn because I had opened a can of Fiesta corn. And I had some guacamole because I like to buy that holy moly guacamole because it comes like 6 individual little cartons. And I had a couple little cherry tomatoes that I had pulled off the tomato vine in the backyard. So I had rice and then a cup of rice. So that was my meal. So my base was, the protein base was the taco meat. And then the starch was the rice, or the carbohydrate was the rice. I also had protein in the black beans. I also had starch with the corn. And then tomatoes were like the vegetable. The guacamole was kind of like the vegetable or the fruit. I didn't have any, like I didn't drink any juice or anything like that. So, but that was our dinner for yesterday. Very colorful, very filling, extremely good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds so good. That kind of sounds like what I put together today. I, like I said, I'm somewhere else. So I literally purposely went into the pantry to see what meal I could put together today. And I was able to come out with an absolutely slamming between the pantry, the main pantry, and the refrigerator and the freezer. We ate well today. So I pulled.
What did you make?
Well, we had some. I took out some tomatoes, of course, and I made a delicious vegetable soup. I had some cannellini beans, so that kind of picked up there. I had some leftover corn on the cob that had not been cooked. So I cut all the kernels off of that, and that went into the soup as well. Of course, you need your base items as well, which is going to be like your onions, your carrots, your celery, if at all possible. And the thing about with onions, if you don't have fresh onions, and of course you might want to add some onion powder, but as luck would have it, we had an onion, and I had 1 carrot. Carrot went in. I chopped him up, and I had some leftover potatoes that had been fried. So I chopped those up and put those in as well. And in the freezer, there was some mixed vegetables, and there was a partial box of some vegetable broth, as well as she happened to have some Better Than bouillon. And so I put a little bit of that in there as well. So it had a chance to simmer and cook down. And it was delicious. It really was delicious. And of course, when you're making something like that and having to pull directly from your freezer, and I didn't do this with a recipe. I mean, I literally was going in and pulling out. You have to have flavor.
Yes.
And, I think that's what gets in the way of those 2-item recipes, that we were talking about, is that sometimes we are so focused on how many items that we're putting in that we forget to add flavor.
Yes. And since you're talking about flavor, I got some flavor things behind me. I'll pull those up and you go ahead and keep talking about flavor.
So,
right. I'll get this and set it aside.
All righty. So we have to have, your base items, and it doesn't matter where you pick them up from. I'm not even talking about names. Salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. See, Miss Denise has gotten them. And you always want to have those. And so, I mix my house seasoning, which includes those 3 items, the black pepper, the onion powder, garlic powder. And then I can play with the salt. now that's the house seasoning right there. And
Leona's
Miss
house
Denise
seasoning.
adjusted her recipe a little bit because I
It's
like a little
nice
more
hot.
pepper and she doesn't. Now, we've got our her, like Miss Denise, and you
Oregano,
grow.
parsley.
Yeah, she grows wonderful herbs. So she's got oregano, thyme, all kinds of good
And a
things.
lot of people like adobo. I've been using that the past couple days. I found this recipe on Island Vibes. She does
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Jamaican cooking,
Uh-huh.
and she used this. Oh my goodness, it was so good. So that's
Ah.
that.
Well, I had a chance to pick up Tabitha Brown's spices, and they
Oh,
really are delicious. And I thought I would try them out. And to be honest with you, I tried them out on using tofu.
ah.
And I've got the big guy eating tofu. Can you believe it?
Well,
And
the thing about tofu, it takes on the flavor of whatever you're cooking.
absolutely.
So it's great. So you mentioned the Better Than Base. So I
Yes,
got that
better
out.
than bouillon base.
So
Yes.
these are flavor boosters, and these are the things you're going to use to add flavor. And
Hmm.
then, of course, I have some, but
I
that shouldn't be up here yet. That's for later. Other seasonings, so taco
absolutely like
seasoning, chili seasoning,
paprika. Hmm.
and then and I didn't get a lot of those spices, but I do have pepper right here. But these are just your basic flavorings that you need to have. Your
Hmm.
cracked black pepper.
Absolutely.
People in the South like to use this Old Bay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I have some here. Probably somebody came to visit and then they bought some while they were here.
Hmm.
But like my daughter, and she lives in Georgia and she was in
Hmm.
Kentucky, she was in Tennessee. So they use a lot of Old Bay there. So I have
That's
some
true.
here. So I wanted people to see that.
Yeah. And
And
frying fish. I use a lot. I use obey in the fish mix.
yeah,
Very.
and then the other flavor boosters that I wanted to talk about then, since you were talking about those, your hot sauces,
Yes. Yes.
mustard.
Mustard. Um,
This is taco
yes,
sauce that I
that's
made myself.
yes. That's your
And
chili
barbecue sauce.
sauce, right?
No, this is the taco sauce. It's in a
The
chili
taco
sauce
sauce.
bottle.
Okay.
I
Okay.
saved the bottle, repurposed it, put my taco sauce in it. And then, of course, barbecue sauce. So,
Barbecue
but
sauce.
these are those flavor boosters that you can put in with some of the whatever else you're making, and it's going to kick up the flavor quite a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I'm making a pot of beans, my secret sauce is always a squish of ketchup. There's something
Oh,
about that ketchup that just lifts those beans and just almost changes the flavor of them. And just a little, just about.
well, if you're making that 15 bean soup by the
Mhm,
Hearst Company, they
mhm.
encourage you to put in a can of diced potatoes toward the end of the cooking time.
Yes,
So that tomato is going to mimic that. The ketchup is going to mimic that tomato flavor.
yes, yes. So, and plus, it keeps you from adding. Sometimes you want to add just a pinch of something sweet
Hmm.
into them, not to really make it sweet, but it just takes away any bitterness that might be in the recipe. So
Hmm.
that takes care of that as well, all in one squish. And so I see you got some good frozen food.
Yeah. So I thought I would ask you to talk about what you might make with these, and then our audience can jump in as well. So here we have some ground turkey, and ground turkey breast is cheaper than ground beef right now.
Oh
This
yeah.
ground turkey breast was probably about $5 for this pound.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good price. I got that at
Yeah.
Kroger.
Hmm.
And then this ground beef was reduced for $5.45. So I got it in the
Hmm.
manager special marked down. So
Oh, that's
what?
great.
And now you can sub out your turkey breast, your ground beef, ground chicken, either one.
Yes.
You can use either one for all of those.
Yes.
So Leona, let's say you have this now, and you know what we have on our pantry staple list. What should
Mhm.
I pull? And those of you out there, tell me too. What should I pull? We're gonna make something with either ground turkey or ground beef. What should we pull?
All right. Well, I'm going to use the ground turkey, and
Okay.
we're going to think. Remember, ground turkey is a white meat, so
Mhm.
we can put together a rice bowl with turkey and broccoli, where that's your turkey is going to be your main protein. You'll need some
Pantry
rice.
staple.
Yep, you're going to need some rice. And of course, you're going to want to make sure that you have your chicken pieces, and you can decide, you may already have your chicken prepped. And if not, then, I mean, your turkey prepped, but if not, then of course, you're going to do that. You're going
You
to
got
need
frozen
some,
broccoli or fresh broccoli?
well, I think frozen broccoli will be just fine for this.
Okay, because that's all we got.
Yep. And then, of course, I like to add in, you might have some soy sauce. Now, in my house, soy sauce is one of those
I
things
got some soy sauce.
I keep soy sauce. And even if I'm out, if we go to a Chinese restaurant, I'm always good about picking up a handful of soy and a handful of mustard. And so soy absolutely is one of those things. I know Miss Denise has garlic because she already had the garlic powder that she pulled out. And of course, you're going to need the typical, pepper, onions, those kind of things, as well as you might have, and this is a specialty item, would be your sesame oil. Now,
I do have that, but I didn't bring it.
All right. So we really have a nice Asian bowl that we can put together, and everything came out of our Four Corners pantry. And
Rice, and this is
rice.
jasmine rice. No, yeah, this is, I think this is jasmine rice. But anyway, it's rice.
Yeah.
So you want to explain the Four Corners pantry?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Now, of course, most of us have a pantry in our kitchen, whether it doesn't matter about size, but you have that pantry where you're keeping your canned goods, your box goods, all those kind of things. And that's typically what we think of when we think of the kitchen pantry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been encompassed with the refrigerator is also one of the pantries because it's holding those things that need to stay cold.
Mm-hmm.
Your freezer that's attached to your refrigerator is another section of the pantry because it's keeping those most used items that you're going to go to quickly right there in your kitchen. So that's 1, 2, 3 pantries. And then if you're lucky, you might have sitting in your garage another freezer or refrigerator that may be out there. Now, I know I'm good at, when we've been married long enough that we have probably gone through several refrigerators. Mm-hmm. And so when mine broke down, I had the fellow to come and repair it, took that one out to the garage and bought a new one. And so that allowed me to have an extra refrigerator in the freezer. And of course, during COVID, the prices on freezers came down a little bit. So we bought a new freezer. So that gives me a refrigerator and a freezer outside. Now,
and don't forget your extended pantry.
Exactly. Our extended prepper pantry that we have been working on for years. And we one thing to keep in mind, and I think Miss Denise and I talked about this too, is the fact that, during the summer, we do, all of us take a break for a minute. Yes. We just breathe for a minute. Mm-hmm. But now is the time to go and look in our extended pantry and see what we have. Okay. And wherever our holes are, we need to start filling those holes. And especially now, yes, we need to prepare for winter, but at this point, we're trying to get those holes filled before the prices go up any further. And
let's see who's here. So Luann says what cracks her up is women go shopping, ask the kids what to eat. Well, we were never asked what we wanted for dinner. Now, you're right. We ate what we put on the table, and that was it.
That's absolutely right.
So when we look at what are some go-to dinners, Renee says hers is tater tot casserole.
Oh, I like that.
And Bathsheba said hers is a go-to pasta aglio in olio, garlic and oil. So pasta aglio in garlic and oil. So she always has pasta, garlic, and olive oil in the house. So now let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So she said she always has pasta, and so I always have pasta. So you've got your spaghetti.
I got my spaghetti.
So, and then I've got, my cream-edge noodles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
I've
didn't
got
bring the
plain
olive oil.
noodles.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is not something I would cook, but I just have it here. I did a grocery haul and had to buy it. So, we have that. Also, we have this gnocchi, which you can get this Italian gnocchi at Kroger. You can also get it at Dollar Tree.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's that. And I'm not going to show the spaghetti since you already have that. But these are some pantry staples again. So now, Leona, pick one of these and tell me what you were going to cook with these and how we're going to build around this.
Well, you know what? I'm going to start with the gnocchi because that's something that's unusual. And when most people think of gnocchi, they think of, an Italian dish, that's so crazy. But did you all know that we can keep it even more simpler than that? Gnocchi makes great like chicken and gnocchi soup, where you just instead of having to make dumplings, you can use your gnocchi.
Use gnocchi. And if you don't have noodles,
that's right.
You can use a gnocchi. So now we've got gnocchi and we're going to make chicken noodle soup. So now we're going to look in our freezer.
Got our chicken.
These chicken legs in the freezer. Are these the legs? These are the chicken something. Frozen chicken in the freezer. So these are either legs or thighs.
Our thighs. Okay.
All these out. So what are we going to do with them?
Yeah, you only need probably 4 for even a big pot. And at that point, then you have to decide if you're going to add anything green. Now, typically when I'm doing something like that, I usually add little peas. And you might have some frozen peas.
I do have frozen peas, but I didn't bring them in the house.
Okay. But I always have canned peas on the shelf. Okay, so we've got our canned peas and we've got our
now notice she didn't know what I was going to pull out. I just pulled out the staples as we've talked about over the past couple of years. So I had canned peas on the shelf. And my family does not eat canned peas very often.
So we need water. We need, if you have some carrots, then you could certainly add some chopped carrots. There we go. We need a couple of carrots.
And these are going to be your refrigerator staples. You've got to have some carrots. Carrots are naturally sweet. And when you cook them, they're going to provide a nice flavor. Now, you might say, well, my kids don't like carrots. They like them raw, don't they? Because they're naturally sweet. So when you're cooking them at first, just partially cook them so they're not all the way cooked soft through, and let them get used to eating them that way. But gotta have some carrots. Now, what else is gonna go in that soup?
Okay, now you're gonna want your better than bouillon back, your chicken flavored or veggie flavored, whichever that you might use, because that's going to help to flavor the sauce. And if you have onions or onion powder and garlic,
this is Miss Leona's house seasoning.
House seasoning, absolutely, got to have that. And let's see, what else do we need in there? Okay,
I got the onion and garlic powder.
The big ones. And
but now, if we use this, do we still need the house seasoning?
I wouldn't think so. I would now, unless you like extra garlic. Now, if you like extra garlic, then you might add that. But otherwise, you probably won't. And
ladies, just to stop you for a second, ladies, while you guys are out there, while she's telling us what she's going to make with this, I want you to drop in the comments what you're going to make with these very same things, because what we're trying to get you to think about is what you can make when you look in that fridge, that freezer, that pantry. What's for dinner? So now Miss Leona is showing you how to do it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So we got that. Now we've got our starch, we've got our base, we've got our protein, we've got our veggies.
Protein, starch.
There you go. And we've got our flavorings that are with us as well.
Are you putting celery in?
Yep, I put celery in mine if I have it, but I also keep celery salt.
Oh.
And sometimes even celery.
Have any of that?
Okay. And but the thing about celery salt, you have to be very careful when you use it because it can take over a dish.
Mhm.
So you just want to add just a tiny bit. But Miss Denise, pretty much I think we've got just about everything we need other than water. We're good.
Uh-huh. And I got water over here.
All right, we're good to go. So that's meal number two.
Let's see what people are saying they're gonna make. So let's see. Bashua said she's used lentils for taco meat before.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a
Mm-hmm.
good idea too.
Yes.
I used some lentils to make some gravy for Salisbury
Mm-hmm.
steak a while
Mm-hmm.
back. And so Tamika says she'll try it. So Renee says she'll take a pound of ground beef and some fresh mushrooms, put the
Mm.
mushrooms in the food processor to add to the ground beef to make it
Oh
double.
yeah,
Okay.
great idea. That's a great idea.
So Kathleen says she buys a 6-pack of guacamole too because it doesn't waste
Okay.
it that way. And there's Florence somewhere. That's Tamika. Where is
I see.
Florence? She was just here.
Yeah, I saw her.
There she is.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. So Tay says, or Tia, that her go-to meal is pinto beans, rice, and some cornbread for her son, or butter bread for her. So now let's talk about
Mm.
that. Pinto beans.
Yes.
And it could be
Could be
canned
canned.
pinto beans,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be dried beans. Now, I didn't
Either
bring any
way.
dried pinto beans in here. I do have some, but
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about those beans, you can make
Yes.
dried beans, or you can make those canned beans. And I know, Leona, you like the cannellini beans.
Absolutely. I
I
like
started buying those
those.
because of you.
Yeah.
But the cannellini beans,
Mm-hmm.
pinto beans,
Mm-hmm.
Great Northern beans, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what these are. So I would
Yes.
probably cook these quicker than these, but just
Absolutely.
depending upon what you need, that's where you are.
Now, one thing to keep in mind too, if you think when you're putting your weekly plan together, notice I said a weekly plan, jot it down. It doesn't have to look pretty. You just have it on a scrap piece of paper that you've posted somewhere. But think about the fact that you're planning to prepare beans. If you have dried beans, then what I would suggest that you do is to go ahead and put them into a container, put the water on them, let them do their overnight soak early, and you can put them into the refrigerator. And then that way, when you're ready to cook them, then, and remember, it's going to take longer because you're using dried beans.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go ahead the night before, put them into the crock pot and cook them and just let them do an overnight cook. And then they're ready for whatever the dish is that you're going to prepare the next day. And that's a great way, especially if you're working, whether you're in or out of the house.
Do you have a recipe for those beans on your channel?
For the beans, yes. I think
I
I
saw
know I do. I know I
Okay,
do.
I'll look for it, and we should link it in the description box if you
Sure.
can find it. I found the recipe a couple days ago. I was
Mhm.
just kind of going down a rabbit hole on YouTube,
Mhm.
and this one called Simply Mama Cooks, or
Uh-huh.
something like that came up.
Mhm.
And it was a Hispanic lady, and
Mhm.
she was cooking from a Hispanic perspective, and she
Mhm.
made some pinto beans and rice, the
Oh,
Mexican
yes.
rice. Now, she made her beans, my mom made her beans the exact same way.
Mhm.
But when she made the rice, she made Mexican rice. And I'm thinking, okay,
Mhm.
I needed that recipe because I love Mexican rice.
Me too.
But she showed, it was a very nice tutorial on how to cook
Mhm.
those beans and rice. And so I thought, okay, so I'll try to remember to link that in the description box because it was a very nice video. And
Yeah.
then she showed how to make something else to go with that. But cornbread.
Cornbread.
Who
Absolutely.
mentioned
And we
cornbread
both have
before? And I
cornbread.
forgot
Yeah.
to bring that up. But somebody mentioned cornbread, the lady before that one.
Mhm.
And for
Mhm.
that,
Do you
again,
have
we're
your
looking at
yellow
pantry
cornmeal?
staples. So when we're looking at pantry staples for cornbread,
Mhm.
you gotta, I'm gonna take this off for a second.
Cornmeal.
You gotta have cornmeal. I like yellow
Absolutely.
cornmeal, but it can be
Mhm.
white. But when you're baking muffins, like cornbread muffins, biscuits, those kind of quick breads, you're going to need some cornmeal, or you're going to need some baking soda,
baking
powder.
powder.
You're going to need salt. And then you will also probably need some flour.
Oh yeah.
Sugar. And depending upon what recipe you're using, you may need some shortening.
That's true.
And then of course, eggs. And I didn't bring eggs out. But, so if you're making cornbread muffins, that kind of thing, you're going to need some of these pantry staples of cornmeal, flour. And then with the cornmeal and the flour, you're going to need the salt, the baking powder, baking soda. You're probably going to need a teaspoon or so of sugar. And then the shortening is going to be your oil. And then sometimes you might be using olive oil or something like that. And I had a box of Jiffy mix somewhere.
Yes, I keep Jiffy. Jiffy somewhere.
I like to keep at least 3 boxes in the pantry because, I will make cornbread from scratch. Oh, and Leona, I made the best sourdough discard cornbread.
Yes.
The other day. It was so good. Oh my goodness. So good. My husband loved it. It was better than Jiffy. I was like,
all right.
It was delicious. But I do try to keep these on hand because whereas I make cornbread from scratch, hubby is not about to do that.
Yes.
If I say, honey, could you make some cornbread? And I hand him this box, he can make it, whip it up, and get it in the oven in no time.
Absolutely.
I like to keep these on hand because they are a help to you and the person that shares the home with you. And if you're one of those moms that's in a hurry, you say, look, I ain't got time to be making no cornbread from scratch. All you got to do is add an egg and some milk to this, and some milk. Good to go. And
it is.
Put it in a muffin tin or in a square brownie pan and have a little pan of cornbread. It's up to you.
Absolutely. And no shame in the game.
None
we use it whenever we need to. And actually, my little granddaughter, who was so fussy about what she was eating, will only eat Jiffy cornbread.
Oh, my kids think Jiffy is the real thing. We have Jiffy all the time. So Bathsheba says she has a recipe called Fiesta rice, and it's a pantry raid meal because it's a rice, black. Okay, so she's got her rice.
Oh, I like that. Black beans.
Got her black beans.
Got her corn.
Her corn. Bell peppers, which I've got in the fridge, and seasoned with Sazon. Oh,
I've got Sazon. And how many of you have either freeze-dried bell peppers? That's something that you can certainly dry, are your bell peppers. Yes.
And the first time I ever used this, my sister, who lives in Delaware, had come to visit. And she went to the grocery store, bought a few things to cook, and she brought some of this. And I was like, oh. So when she made some green beans or something that was so good, so I called her later on and said, what is your recipe? And she put this in it. So I've been using this since then. So now notice, when Bathsheba said what she used, I had all those things right here. Again,
right there.
These are pantry staples. Miss Leona, do you have any of this in your house?
Absolutely. I have it in my house, ready to go. I love it.
And if you didn't even know what you want to season things with, you know that you need salt and pepper and garlic powder, and that. And if you added 1 or 2 of these, that's going to be enough to give you some spice. And then you can add more seasoning to your taste. And when it says season to taste, what that means is to your taste. How do you like it? Now, I know when Miss Leona's cooking for herself and the big guy, it is spicy. When I'm cooking for me and my big guy, I'm cutting that spice in half.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Bathsheba and I'm going, now let's see, where's the red pepper flakes?
If I'm using red pepper flakes, it's going to be like, and that's it. It's not going to be one of these moments. It's like, that's it.
I'm gonna have at least a teaspoon in there. But that
Mm-mm.
sounds good. But you know what? One thing to also point out, as we have been showing you the various combinations that we've been coming up with just kind of off the top of our head, there are certain key items that keep popping up. And that's how you end up developing your essentials, because you know almost every time you start to cook a meal, you're going to need those particular things.
Mhm.
So, you know, I always have onions. I
Mhm.
always have celery and carrots and you know, nowadays you can get them dehydrated, or if you're lucky, you know, Amazon has them dehydrated, you know, where you can get the carrots and the onions and all those kind of things dehydrated.
They have, what do you call them? That is it, the Azure Farms or Thrive or
Yes,
something?
Azure
They have
Farm
those
has them.
at Walmart. Yeah,
Yes, and
already.
I have those
I have
available,
some too, but I
and
didn't bring
they're
them out
yeah,
because I got to
they're
put all the
shelf
stuff in when the
stable.
ones were done.
And so, you know, it's nice to have. I've even got spring onions that are dehydrated that I can throw
I
into
like that
whatever it is.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got T. Drayton, and she says her pantry meal, chicken fried rice. So she used
Mm.
canned
Yep, got the chicken.
chicken,
Oh yeah, and
mixed
got the
vegetables,
rice. All
mixed
right, got the
vegetables,
mixed vegetables. We got the soy
rice,
sauce. We got the seasoning. I know you got eggs in the fridge,
eggs in the fridge, and then here's the soy
and
sauce,
got the soy sauce.
and then various seasonings. So yeah. So listen, I'm gonna get these veggies back in the freezer. You go ahead and talk while I put these
Okay, so
plates
it
on the
may
floor.
be that even one other thing that I'm sure she probably didn't mention, I know T, I like a little touch of garlic in there. You may want to put some garlic and just kind of season it up, a little extra seasoning, and that's the seasoning. I see you have soy sauce and seasoning.
Yes.
And so typically you'd want to add your salt, pepper, those kind of things into it as well. And of course, you may not add salt because you know you're going to add the soy because it's going to give you that sodium level that you need. I see Beth Shua says she's made vegan shepherd pie using lentils. You know, I've been working those lentils, and it's amazing the texture that the
Yes.
lentils give that just substitute for the meat. I
Yeah,
love
and she says that if you add tomato paste,
it. Mm-hmm.
pantry staple, with some
Mm-hmm.
soy sauce, it mimics the taste of beef.
That's
So,
right.
okay, so you ladies and gents out there, remember that, so that, you know, let's say you want to make something and you decide we're going to have a meatless Monday, you could go with some lentils in your shepherd's pie and try that. So let's
Well, I
see.
can tell you where it's good in chili. Put your lentils in place of the meat and in when you're making your chili, and let it cook down slow. I do mine in a slow cooker. No one ever misses the meat. They just figure automatically that there is, you know, ground beef in there, and it's not. Let's see.
So,
Hazel's got,
Hazel,
yeah.
canned chicken or salmon, rice
Mm-hmm.
packet, and some kind of veggies for a quick meal. So we talk about a rice packet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my husband
Yep.
loves these little 90-second rices because he can manage them real easy. And some canned chicken. And I've got canned turkey as well as canned chicken. I ought to put the canned chicken somewhere.
Now I've got canned salmon.
That I won't have. And here's the rice packet. And then some
Mhm.
kind of veggies. And so I put
Yeah.
my mixed vegetables, my broccoli. I
Mhm.
put all that back in the freezer because I didn't want it to
Mhm.
thaw out because then it gets
Oh
all
yeah.
like a big block.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
okay. So yes.
Cool.
Oh, T caught a sale on corn and string beans for $1. That's a
Oh,
good deal. Yeah. You
yes.
don't see deals like that until close to Thanksgiving. Okay.
That's true.
At the
That's true.
ShopRite store. Good deal.
Okay. Okay. We don't have one here.
So Terry's going to make either a lemon pepper or lime pepper chicken probably next.
Ooh,
That
that
sounds
sounds
good.
good. Mm-hmm.
And then Terry says, what do you use the orange pepper on? Probably, I'm guessing chicken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now T is talking about something that I love is gravy mixes. She
Yes.
said you can do wonderful things with gravy mixes. She uses brown gravy mix as a sauce for egg foo young. That's a great
Oh.
idea. Now, I tricked my mom once. She thought I had made the gravy for Thanksgiving, and I had actually used it up. I had done remember Sandra, was it Sandra Lee that was
Oh yeah, the
semi
semi-homemade.
homemade.
Uh-huh.
And so I would start with a jar of Heinz turkey
Mm-hmm.
gravy and
Mm-hmm.
then zhuzh it up, use some of my
Uh-huh.
own drippings, and I would make a bunch of gravy. Then whatever was left over, I would pour it back in the jar. I set in the fridge. My mom saw me pouring that gravy back in the jar. She was like, "What? You bought jarred gravy? I thought you made that gravy." I said, "Mom, it was semi-homemade." So,
That's right.
I did. But she made me think of that just now. But yeah, you can use those gravy mixes. Now
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about that. What is it? The bouquet, browning bouquet?
Um, 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 hmm.
I got some of that, and it's not because I
Yes.
bought it.
Um,
Here it is.
yes. Something bouquet.
Something bouquet. It's kitchen bouquet.
Kitchen bouquet. Okay. Okay. I love that. And
My
that's what I
sister
didn't
brought
have
it here.
at
I didn't
this
buy it.
house. Yes.
It's so nice though because I don't think it has any flavor. Well, it says browning and seasoning
Yeah.
sauce. I guess it does have a
A
little
little
flavor
bit.
to
It
it,
does have a little flavor,
but
but the
it gives.
main thing is the color.
Yeah, we had gone out to dinner once. A whole bunch of family members were out to dinner, and we were at Country Buffet or somewhere like that. No, not the Country Buffet, Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And my nephew was sitting beside me, and we were a bunch of us around the table. So the waitress asked him, he wanted biscuits and gravy, and she says white gravy or brown gravy. And before he could answer, I said, "Who eats white gravy?" And then he just looked at me like I think he was going to say white gravy. I'm like, "Who eats white gravy?" But what I realized though is sausage gravy is very pale. It's white. And if you
Yes.
have biscuits and gravy, it's usually sausage in it. So
Mhm.
sausage gravy is usually white. But I'm probably gonna put a drop of this in it.
I do too. I do too. Mine is kind of a light brown gravy.
Mhm,
Got a
mhm.
little color to it.
So okay, so there we talked about that.
Mhm.
So Renee made orange pepper wings. Okay,
Oh,
so
yum.
ah, so Kathleen got a 5-pound bag of flour last month
Mhm.
after the video that I talked about snap changes. Good.
Yay.
It was free for grocery rewards at Safeway and Albertson.
Oh, that's
And boom,
wonderful.
that is really good. And so
Mhm.
now, since she's got that 5-pound bag of flour, Leona, what's she gonna do with it?
Well, now's the time to start thinking about putting together an artisan bowl or
Okay.
making your bread. You can
Mm-hmm.
certainly use it for your, you may add cornbread. I know I do flour and cornmeal
Yeah, gotta need
with
both of them for the
flour.
cornbread.
And to make the cornbread, you can use that flour for cookies, use that flour to make gravy from scratch. And I predominantly I use my flour for baking.
Right.
Now, for those who
And if you want to fry some chicken or something like that,
absolutely,
you need flour for
absolutely,
that as well.
absolutely. And the nice thing about it, you can put a mix together for like your frying of your chicken, where you'd have your flour already in, say a quart jar, and put in your, I know I like paprika in mine, black pepper, a little salt in there, onion powder, garlic powder, mix all that up real well, and make my own chicken mix, as well as some cornstarch. Yep, you've got it
But
going.
this is my husband's mix.
There you go. And that's his fish mix.
Yeah.
And so we do the same thing with the fish, with the cornmeal. And so that gives you a great opportunity to have something already on the shelf, ready to go. And the thing about the chicken mix is that when you're ready to make gravy, pull a couple of tablespoons of that out. It's
Mm-hmm.
already seasoned, all ready to go, and you've got gravy on the table in no time.
And now let's just back up for a second too. So now these are quick breads that we're talking about for the most
Mhm.
part. but your yeast breads and your overnight breads, your starters, your pancakes and all that. Because you can also, when we talk about quick breads, we're looking at pancakes and biscuits and
That's true.
muffins and different little things like that, as well as your cookies and that kind of thing. And so that's what you can do with your flour, and just add your other, depending upon what is now. As you initially get started, you're going to need a recipe for those.
Yeah.
You're going to need a recipe for those until you get to where you make that cornbread over and over and over, or you make those biscuits over and over and over, that you don't need to look at it. But you're going to need a recipe for those. And okay, because you want to get the right amount in those things.
Absolutely.
But those are some things you're going to want to make sure that you have when we're looking at pantry staples. Now, other things that I wanted to mention, which I forgot when we were looking at baking items.
Oh yeah, vanilla, chocolate. And the thing is, I usually buy, and I use Watkins too. I buy a large bottle of Watkins, typically around the holiday, and I have it for the year. I don't have to go back and buy more. And it's delicious. The Hershey's cocoa, that's one of those things. If I can't find Hershey, then I'm gonna have to find somebody else. Sometime, if I'm lucky, I can get some Ghirardelli. But sometimes, if the budget's funny, then you may go with another brand.
Cocoa brand from Aldi.
Yeah, and in fact, I think I have two from Aldi's. And your oils, your avocado oil, your olive oil, those are things that you want. And your avocado oil is one of what's considered a neutral oil, and it has a higher heat setting for it, so that you can actually fry with it, where you may not want to necessarily fry with olive oil unless you're doing.
And these are your baking staples. So again, when we look at pantry, your butter's going to be a refrigerator staple.
Oh yeah.
But you want to have this cocoa, this Hershey's cocoa, or whatever brand you choose to buy in your pantry, so that you can make things. I made those brownies that you, the sourdough discard brownies. I made those with this cocoa, and they were so good. And then, of course, you need your vanilla and things like that. Now, if you can't afford the vanilla extract, the imitation vanilla works just fine. When we were growing up, that was all we used. I didn't know.
That's all I knew about.
Until I got older and bougie and could afford my own.
I know.
So now, and let me just bring up something else too. So most of the things that I try to show today are things that all of you can get now. This avocado oil can be a little pricey. I might go with the store brand or whatever. But I remember once I did a grocery haul, and one of my young viewers said, "Miss Denise, I don't mean no harm." She said, "But I can't shop like you shop." She said, "I ain't got it like that." And then I realized she's still young, homemaker with children at home, trying to get food on the table. I was an empty nester. It was just him and me here at the house.
Yeah.
And so what we can spend on groceries, we buy groceries differently today.
Right.
Now, 20 years ago, we bought groceries a whole lot differently.
Yes. Yes.
So keep in mind that as you grow and your family grows, your buying habits and your buying needs will change.
That's right. That's right.
What should we get out next, Leona?
Well, let's see.
Pick a staple. I think I got it out for you.
What about, do you have any like quinoa?
I do.
Maybe.
I think I do.
Now it doesn't have to be quinoa. If we got rice, we're good. But that's something that seems to be a new generation thing.
No, okay. I got couscous.
Okay, and our couscous, either one. But let's see, couscous. Now, you may not have this. Do you have chickpeas or garbanzos?
Oh, of course. That's a staple.
All right. All right.
So did I bring them out?
So we've got chickpeas. We've got our couscous. And if you have a fresh, what about zucchini? Do you have any zucchini?
I do.
Yay.
So let me tell you a joke. So I sent my husband to the store to pick up some stuff and told him to bring me back 2 zucchini because I was gonna make that zucchini bread that you
Mhm.
showed. He brought back 2 cucumbers.
I'm not laughing at Will. I'm not. That's my buddy. I'm not laughing at Will.
So he's not gonna go to the store anymore because he heard me. He's like, uh-huh. So here's the zucchini. Here's
So
that.
we have
What else did you
couscous.
want?
You got the couscous, you got the zucchini. Now all you're going to need is going to be your olive oil. You're going to need a little paprika. You
Got
have
that.
some cumin.
Got all that.
And so this is going to be a bowl that you're going to put together. So of course you'll prepare the couscous, and I even like to add a little bit of the better than bouillon into the water for the couscous, just to get, there we go, to give it just a tiny bit of flavor. And guys, now Miss Denise has, I think, chicken flavor.
This is chicken flavor.
And I have in mind no chicken base.
Yeah, they got the roasted vegetable, right?
Right. So mine is plant-based, but it has a chickeny flavor. But they basically it's funny. But
no
anyway,
chicken based.
So just to put that together, but one of the best proteins that you can have when you're dealing with plant-based is to have the chickpeas. And always remember that the liquid that is in that can, that aquafaba, is gold. Don't throw that away. I know most of the time we usually rinse all the beans and do that. Don't do that with your chickpeas. Keep your aquafaba. And you may even want to, what I do sometimes is to add the aquafaba into the mixture where I'm cooking the couscous, so that I can get those nutritional benefits as well. But the zucchini, I like to saute the zucchini, get them just a little brown on the edges, get them cut up into like little half moons. And you might even throw in some fresh onions. And but it's just going to make either a nice skillet dish or nice one pan meal. The cumin's going to give it a little bit of smokiness. And of course, you'll want to saute all of this in your olive oil.
Yes.
And you're going to have a quick dish. You got a base, you got a protein, you got your veggie, and you got lots of flavor ready to go.
So Bathsheba says another quick meal for her is fried cabbage and kielbasa sausage. She'll either use beef or turkey since she doesn't eat pork. Serve that over rice and have a short on her. She has a short on her channel on how she makes it. Okay. So send me that link, Bathsheba, and we can put it in the description box. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't know you had a channel.
I didn't either.
And then Bathsheba said she keeps frozen peas in the house. Right now she has peas that she grew in her garden and froze harvesting. So Patience is here. Hey, Patience.
Aww.
So Kathleen ordered 5 pounds of sugar and chocolate chips. Also 2 boxes of Starbucks hot chocolate. They were $2 off. That'll last a long time. So now as Kathleen is building her pantry, she's looking ahead to the winter. So as we look at the prices of things going up, we're looking at tariffs and all that kind of stuff. Buy what you can at the best price that you can afford and have some to set aside. Because we're trying to encourage you to build your pantry so that you don't have to make one of those meals and think nobody wants to eat that. Whatever you pull out, even if it's pasta, that you've got enough flavorful things that you've got something to go with. And as you build your protein base, if all you pick up is the beans, then you can certainly make a great meal with the rice. But
Absolutely.
you can also consider canned fish.
Canned food.
Like
absolutely.
And then I had some canned beef. Canned beef. And then canned turkey. So there's things that you can get to build those. And I would encourage you to pick up 1 can of canned meat.
Yes.
There's some kind of canned protein source like that. Each time you buy groceries, and just put it back.
Now, Miss Denise, you had, it just happened that you had frozen turkey, but you also had canned turkey. And I like to kind of save the fresh turkey for something that I'm actually going to probably slice some of the turkey off of that. And the canned turkey, I can make a delicious noodle soup with the turkey, with some of the cube carrots, add egg noodles, and add
egg
in
noodles.
celery. I think I saw your egg noodles. Then all you need some broth and thyme and parsley, your house seasoning, and if you happen to have something green, whether it's peas, I have even done it with spinach. And now spinach is something I keep in the freezer all the time. And you can just go in. And in fact, it's funny. Conway thinks it's funny because I buy the bags of spinach, kale, those kind of things, but I freeze them once I get them home. Then that way I can just go in, take a big handful and throw it into whatever it is.
Just break it off and drop it in.
Yes, ready to go in.
Certainly do that.
And so this is a great soup that you can put. You can either use turkey or you can use your canned chicken. And you
can also use your canned beef for that. For soup
yes,
too. If you think about those cans of Campbell's vegetable beef soup, those kinds of things, you can make those things at home yourself.
Absolutely.
So I do have a couple of cans of soup out here, and I got stuff all over the place now, so I'm not sure where they are, but they're out here. But here's the thing: I kind of hesitated to get them out because soup is something that is so simple that you can make it yourself.
But it's good to have though as a backup.
Right. It's good to have for backup because one day the baby's sick, everybody's down with the flu, you're down with the flu. You need to put something on the table quick. You don't have time to make soup. So you should have a few cans of soup on hand for emergency's sake. And then other forms of pasta I forgot to bring out is like this little orzo pasta.
Oh yeah, I love orzo.
I really like it though because it's really small. Look at that.
They're small and they are just
kids perfect. Like that.
It's kind of like rice, but only pasta.
Yes.
And do you have any wraps?
I do.
Okay.
Pantry staples. I was here. I got them right over here. At least they were.
Well, while we're waiting, but thinking about the wraps, you can do taco wraps. You can either use your fresh ground beef, those lentils, we were talking about earlier, the Bashir was talking about using the tomatoes, and I think it was a little bit of the soy to cook that up, use that as the meat.
I don't know where they are. But when Justin was here, he bought some taco wraps, some of those large tortilla wraps and small ones, because on Taco Tuesday, he made burritos and tacos and stuff in the oven. And that's something else that you can make for your family. So speaking of those, I always have a box of taco shells.
Oh, yeah.
On the shelf. And then if I don't have taco shells, I don't always have the wraps, but I always have these.
Yeah, I have those, and I usually have the corn chips, and so actually I like the corn chips even better than the taco shells, where you can just scoop.
And I will usually, like if we're having for Taco Tuesday, if I'm going out to buy something, I will buy a bag of restaurant style taco chips, and then we will tend to have a taco bowl now. Now, hubby likes to have the crunchy taco shells sometimes, but a lot of times what I like to do is I like to get out these little red plates right here, and I will put a taco bowl or that one. I will use rice on the bottom, and taco meat on top of that, then the beans and the corn and the guacamole and all that stuff, and we'll have it that way with my homemade taco sauce, which I don't know where I put.
Oh, salsa.
Oh, yes.
Salsa is something I use in soups. I use everywhere.
Definitely a staple.
And it has become it's kind of like, you think of ketchup, I think of salsa too, because you can use it for your taco, your more Mexican dishes. but you can throw it in a lot. Absolutely.
Salsa
Absolutely.
goes with everything. And
Everything.
it's just amazing the impact that different ethnicities have had on the American food. I tell you, the first time I had a bagel, which I typically think of as a Jewish food,
Mm-hmm.
my daughter was probably 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she had spent the night with a girlfriend from her school, and they had bagels. And so when she came home, she says, "Mom, can we have some bagels?" I'm like, "What is a bagel?" I didn't know what a bagel was. I never had one. So if she was 9, I was a good 29 or 30,
Mm-hmm.
and I had never had a bagel. But now bagels is like I buy bagels like I buy a loaf of bread. I
I
buy
do too.
salsa, and we have tacos and that kind of thing. So it's all
Mhm.
incorporated as a part of the American diet now. So yeah, so it's like
Absolutely.
everybody's got some
Oh,
salsa.
yeah. And a good couple of tablespoons of that into a vegetable soup that you're
Oh
preparing
yes.
just adds a wonderful flavor to it.
Now let's talk about vegetable soup too, because I think Bashua
Mhm.
mentioned her pantry raid dish was with the rice
Yes.
and all that, but vegetable soup is another pantry raid or
Oh,
refrigerator
yes.
raid.
Oh,
So you
yes.
can clear out your fridge, any leftover vegetables, put it
Mhm.
in the pot, and if you've got some salsa, put that in
That's
the
it.
pot. In
Absolutely.
addition to your carrots.
And got your carrots, got your onions, got your celery, and absolutely. And so as you're putting those in, that's your bouillon, and you have a delicious vegetable soup. And the
That
nice thing about vegetable soup is that you can make it, you can put it away in containers, put it in the
mhm.
freezer, and instead of having to have Campbell's a particular night when everyone's a little under the weather, or you just want something good
Mhm.
and warm, come in and grab that vegetable
That's
soup.
right.
It's
And
delicious.
T, thank you so much,
Thank
Tia. We've
you.
got that super chat. We
Mhm.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love it. Uh oh, Luan says soak walnuts, grind them up, and use them for taco filling. Now, I was looking at this one channel called Rainbow Plant Life or Rainbow
Mhm,
Plant
mhm,
something. And she was showing grinding up walnuts for one of the dishes she was making. That girl
mhm.
was cooking up some stuff. Do you hear me? I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my
Oh, yeah.
goodness, she was cooking it up.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see.
what is it? Nutmeg Notebook. She does a lot
Yes.
with ground walnuts as well as
Hmm.
ground cashews and uses those. So,
So,
got Vicky with us tonight.
so Hazel's going to use the gnocchi, and she's
Okay.
going to make a baked casserole, and she's
Ooh,
going to use
her
diced
nice
tomatoes,
tomatoes. Okay.
some cheese, which I didn't bring out,
Mhm,
and that
mhm.
spinach that you talked about.
Yes, yes, yes.
So she's
Oh,
going to
that's
do
going to
that.
be delicious. Another good way to use that spinach is in your beans. With your diced tomatoes, you could use white navy beans or pinto beans,
Hmm.
and then throw in a handful of spinach, your onions, and you've got a one-pot meal right there. And
Yeah.
you can decide whether you want rice with that to as a base and fix a bowl. But it's
Hmm.
delicious and it's filling.
Vicky says beans and cornbread is certainly a go-to for her and her family.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And when the Simply Cooking Mama made her beans and her
Mm-hmm.
rice, she made Mexican rice and she used tomato paste, like about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons in her rice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Uh-huh.
something else she showed, she took, like she'd opened a whole can of tomato paste and she
Mm-hmm.
took a scoop that was probably a tablespoon or two
Uh-huh.
and put them into muffin liners to
Okay.
use up the whole can. And then
Uh-huh.
she put the muffin liners in the freezer and froze them
Uh-huh.
and then put them in a freezer bag. So then when she needed 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, she could reach in
Mm-hmm.
there, grab one of those little muffin things
And
out
ready to go.
and be ready
Mm.
to go. I thought, oh, I like that idea. So I'm going to pass that
Yeah.
along.
And Cassandra does that too, as well as she does it with garlic, because she grows garlic. So she
Yes.
minces it up and puts it into the containers.
So Tia's going to do her pinto beans in a bag.
Okay.
And Vicky says pinto beans and butter beans in the
Oh,
bag.
yeah.
So then Luann says beans, cornbread, fried potatoes. Yes, that's a nice combination as well. So when you talk
Yes.
about those fried potatoes, okay, let's go on to our next staple. Leona.
Oh,
We got
yes.
potatoes right here. So what can we do
I
with
love
potatoes? Before I move
potatoes.
some of this stuff out of the way.
You're going to laugh. Here we go. Back to those potatoes. But we've got potatoes. You can bake them. And, something too to keep in mind is that if you're going to bake and you've got a bag, a lot of times I will scrub all of them. Go ahead and bake all of them.
Oh,
Then
bake
I
all the
can take
potatoes?
them out. Bake all the potatoes. I can take them out, chop them into little cubes, put some in the freezer. And when I need potatoes, I can just pop them out. But
Oh.
I like baked potatoes with tuna and green beans that you can put them together. So you have your baked potato, you've got your canned tuna. I know that's not your favorite, Miss Denise.
No, I
But
wouldn't think of using tuna like that. That's not
yeah,
something I would want to
and
eat. So how are you
green
making those green
beans.
beans? How do you make that?
The green beans, you kind of layer it, how you would,
Oh, like a
fix a
layer. Oh, okay.
uh-huh, and have your green beans that you've seasoned, and you can season them like do a little sprinkle of lemon pepper if you have a lemon pepper seasoning. If not, lemon juice. If you have
Put that
some
on top of the
oil,
baked potato and then the
mhm,
tuna on top of
mhm.
that.
And then run them back in so that they have a chance. If you happen to have a little bit of cheese, you could add a little bit of cheese in there if
I
you
might
like.
eat that with cheese on it. I don't think that's something I would want to eat. Now, I will
No.
eat tuna. So let's back up. Now we're talking about
All
tuna.
right. But now you could also do this with a different kind of meat. Okay.
I
So
will eat
we've got
tuna.
our
I will make
tuna.
tuna casserole. So we're going to make this tuna
Okay.
casserole. So we got to have
All
tuna.
right. I like tuna casserole.
Got to have your noodles.
Okay. Got your
and then a
noodles.
can of either cream of mushroom or cream of chicken soup.
Okay. Or you can make your own cream of chicken.
Do you do that?
Sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I'll
I've
make
not
my
tried
own.
that.
Yeah. It's so
Mary
easy.
does that.
Yeah. It is really easy to put together. And because basically what it is seasoning and your thickening, and it comes out nice and creamy.
Oh,
And then you can
it's
just
like
add
roasted
it.
gravy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
And toss it in. Because, basically that's what it comes out to be in your casserole. It's the gravy for the casserole. And of course, we need a pie shell.
And these are pantry staples. You need this pie shell to make that, some kind of tuna pot pie or whatever, or the
chicken
kind of
pot
tuna
pie
that Miss Leona was just talking about. Or let's say you wanted to make a chicken pot pie or a beef pot pie or something like that. Now with a shepherd's pie, I'm trying to think.
You need mashed potatoes.
You're going to need mashed potatoes on the top, but you've got your ground beef.
Yes.
You've got your ground
and your
beef.
gravy.
And then you make your gravy to put in it. And then you've got your mixed vegetables that you put in that. That layer goes on the bottom. And then you've got some delicious mashed potatoes that you spread on top and you kind of brown those. So
absolutely.
So
quick shepherd pie.
Staple. And there's two in the box. And you just roll them out and they fit a regular 9-inch pie plate. So okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what other folks got that they're talking about. So Tia says something about oil. Yeah, we had oil out.
Oh.
Biggie says you can't go wrong with fried potatoes with onions, even better with red and green peppers. And you can buy them that way. I think they call them O'Brien potatoes. You can buy them
potatoes O'Brien. And I use those in soups as well.
Oh, so Renee likes to add black pepper, onions, and cheese to her Jiffy mix.
Oh.
Now, my girlfriend had a recipe for cheese biscuits, and you put black pepper in them, and they were just delicious. And I've made some savory corn muffins. I got this little cookbook. I have to look it up now. That you make corn muffins with like onions and peppers and different kind of things in them, and they're really good. So yeah, okay.
Now, do you ever do Mexican cornbread on your Taco Tuesday?
No, is that with like the corn and the peppers in it?
Mhm. And
I
you
have
use
not.
the peppers, or you can even throw in some salsa into it,
Mm.
rather, into, if you're going to use Jiffy Mix, use some salsa in there, but that adds a little extra flavor.
So Renee dehydrated vegetables in her oven,
Ah,
onions, green onions, corn, and she's going to do some
mhm.
potatoes next. I should do some green onions and things because I've had like my chives are out there and I should dry them. When I went to that Amish market, they had a whole bag of dried chives. I'm like, oh, people buy them like this? I thought I could just dry my own. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Oh, good idea, Terry.
we're going to do that on your show.
Absolutely.
I don't,
When I'm
that's
back
going to be a
home.
hard one. That's going to be a hard one.
Sounds good.
But yeah, it
Sounds
does
good.
sound good. And pretty much
Mhm.
we're looking at canned vegetables, I should say not canned items.
Absolutely.
Canned items, but make sure you have
Mhm.
a old fashioned screw top can opener.
Oh, yes. Can opener. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
So C Pollard's liking all the tips.
Aw.
And Tia, is that another one or is that the same one?
No, I think that's the same one. It just
Wait
kind
a minute, and she's got
of,
another one.
oh,
She's
how nice. Bless
what?
your heart.
Thank you. Wait a
Thank
minute, where did
you.
it go? Honey, thank you. That is so nice of you to do that. I don't know where I put it. I thought I tapped it. Maybe I went up too high because I was looking at it and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, one says, um, they're right there. You see where Dolores Wilson is? They're
Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
okay. You see where she's talking about making chili using ground turkey?
Hi, Davy. No, I missed it. I'm trying to find it. So sweet potatoes are delicious too.
Oh, yes. Oh, with
And
diced onions. Yeah.
Greek potatoes with chickpeas.
Mhm.
Oh, olive oil, garlic, and
Yum.
lemon.
Ooh.
Antoinette finally caught us live.
Yay.
And then Bashu said you can make soup with potatoes,
Mhm.
corn, and potato leek soup. Yeah, I
Leek
made
soup.
some corn chowder the
Mhm.
other day.
And I've made leek soup.
And then C. Pollard saw a recipe for cream
Yes.
of chicken using sourdough
Using
discard.
sourdough discard. I
Oh,
tell you what, C. Pollard has been killing it. She's been working that sourdough
has
discard.
she?
Oh,
Cauliflower mash is a good alternative to mashed potatoes if you're doing keto. And yes, and they are very
oh,
good.
okay.
And T says she does shepherd's pie or meatloaf in a muffin tin. No, that's not crazy because you put those. Now, for the shepherd's pie, I would think you would need a large muffin tin so you
Yeah.
can get a good serving. And,
Yeah.
like one of those big muffins.
Mm-hmm.
But the meatloaf, though, either in a muffin tin could be big
Mm-hmm.
one or small ones, because then you've got like little small
Little
meatloaves, little small balls or whatever. So they're
mm-hmm.
kid friendly. And then if you got a bigger kid, you could give them 2 or 3, or like for the hubby, he might have 3 or 4 or 5. But you can have bigger ones, and they cook a lot quicker, and
Oh,
they're
yes.
easy to freeze. So
Yes,
we're
they
gonna
are.
make that meatloaf. How are we gonna make that meatloaf?
Now, you got your ground beef, you got your onions, you got your, do you put bell peppers in yours?
I
A little,
do, and they're in the freezer.
okay, a little bit of bell peppers. Now I am a tomato based girl, so I like a little bit of tomato paste in there. And do you add
I put
oatmeal
oatmeal in
to
mine.
yours?
So what?
Do you put oatmeal in yours?
Yep.
Okay.
I put a little oatmeal in mine,
Yeah.
but you could use breadcrumbs if you don't have
Yes, you
oatmeal.
can.
But
And
most people have oatmeal and not breadcrumbs.
right, right. And so you can use either one as a filler. So they get you started. Of course, you need your seasonings, your salt, pepper, all those
Salt,
good things,
pepper, and all that stuff.
garlic, all those things that have to go in there. Put that base, and this is where you're going to pull out either I cover mine with tomato ketchup, or depending upon who's eating at that particular time, sometimes I'll use chili sauce. And
I'm going to make a sauce topping with brown sugar and barbecue
yes,
sauce and
there
ketchup
you go.
on top of that meatloaf.
Yeah, and some use barbecue sauce. Sometimes it just depends on what's going on. But it's a quick and easy meal. Have some potatoes on the side, and
Baked potatoes or
yes,
mashed potatoes.
sorry,
If you make
mashed.
mashed potatoes, you can make extra sauce that goes on the top.
Yes,
Put it on
yes.
potatoes. Pour a little
Oh,
bit over the meatloaf.
yes, yes, yes. And with your gravy, and it's a great meal. It's a
Now,
great.
ladies and gents, I hope you see what we are doing. What we're trying to show you is how you just pull these things out and you begin. Now, for the meatloaf, you might need a recipe at first, but after a while, you'll begin to know what it is you need. Or it's okay if you need to write it down, put it in your notebook so that you know what it is that you need to make. But all the things we need for the meatloaf is already right here. I had it right here
Absolutely.
in the kitchen somewhere. So
Mhm.
yes.
So they're pantry items that we can use, and they're just so easy to put together. I see Vicky's talking about making homemade vanilla extract, and
Ah.
and that's something. Of course, you can make it, but you want to make it a couple of months in advance so that it will have a chance to marinate and to get really good flavor. So, like now would be a great time to make your vanilla extract for the holidays, so that by the time you're ready for the holidays, you'll have plenty of homemade vanilla extract.
Mhm.
Yes, better than bouillon, Italian herb to the meatloaf, or if you have some herbs of Provence, you could certainly add that into your meatloaf as well.
Now wait a minute here. So, hey, Davy is him. That's your son, Tia? Is that your son? Because there's somebody that named Davy
Oh,
that's saying hello, and I
I'm
think
trying to find him.
right there.
Oh, hello. Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
That's
We're
sweet.
doing great, Davy. We're doing just fine.
We're so glad you're here with us tonight.
Yeah. And then we've got Carol here. Oh, wait a minute.
Hmm.
I thought I
Hmm.
had Carol somewhere. There she is. So, Carol, we've been talking about what we're going to make from these pantry staples. Do you have any idea as to what you might make? So, people have been jumping in. So, now you ladies and gents, and Davy, you're out there too. So, you've seen some of the things that I've had on this counter and some of the things Miss Leona shared with us. What would you make? Give us an example of something you've got out there, and we'll figure out how you can use it. So, there's no point in you standing there like this trying to figure out what you're going to cook, because there is a way to come up with it. If nothing else, you've got your flavor boosters, you've got your beans, and you know what? You can mix those beans with any kind of pasta or rice and come up with a dish that's edible. You're also probably going to need to have, in addition to your oils, did I mention the butter? Did I show butter earlier?
You did. You did.
Okay. So your butter, your shortening. You want to also probably have some cheese. You can either have block cheese or shredded cheese, whatever fits your budget. Leona,
Absolutely.
what have I forgotten? I tried to pull out every basic category of staples.
I think you have just about pulled out everything.
I had to put all this stuff away too. I might leave it
Oh,
out. I might put this meat in the freezer and leave everything else out here.
also, one thing, guys, as you're
Oh, yes.
shopping, especially those of you who are younger, when you go into the grocery store, there's a section near the flour, sugar. Typically, you'll find it in most stores. And look for the seasoning package. These were now this happens to be chili, but these were lifesavers when I was a young cook. I had them for beef stew. I had them for tacos. Of course, I always kept chili. And it has just a variety, gravies, all kinds of little mixes. And I keep those on the shelf so that if I'm not the one cooking,
Mhm.
whomever's cooking can come in and prepare something that's going to be tasty. So keep that in mind.
And I think you said something that I want to make sure they heard. When you said, if I'm not the one that's going to be cooking,
Mhm.
you have to have things that are simple enough or creative enough for the people that share the house with you. So if you've got teenagers and they're beginning to learn how to cook, you
Mhm.
can begin to teach them how to make some things using some of these items. But if your partner is trying to cook, you need to have things that he or she can use without too much difficulty. So I'll buy Jiffy Mix and I'll buy 90-second rice because that works well for him.
Oh,
He's not
yeah.
about to cook no rice that takes 20 minutes to cook.
Now I'm down here digging, but I'm also bringing out the can of mixed vegetables. Now I know Miss Denise showed you the frozen vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nice to have several cans of mixed vegetables
Mm-hmm.
on your shelf. And typically I try to have 8 because you can
Oh.
use them so many different ways. In your
Mm-hmm.
chicken pot pies, you can throw it into your vegetable soup. You can have a
Mm-hmm.
really quick vegetable soup with them.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Oh.
so this is a way, absolutely, have your baby carrots, have the vegetables that you like. You can add something, your pasta sauce. I've got some of that down here too, to pull out.
Oh.
And I had, now I also like the Rotel
Oh, the diced
diced
tomatoes.
diced tomatoes with green chilies. Now, of course,
Okay.
you can buy the little cans of green chili, but it's nice to be able to have some that's mixed.
Mm-hmm.
These go well if you're preparing like black beans.
How hot are those green chilies?
Hmm. And you don't like them?
No, I'm saying how hot are they?
You buy them. This is mild.
Okay.
And so they're very easy. For me, they have, they're not hot at all.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they have medium and they have hot.
Oh,
So
I'm
you
going
do
with the
have to look at the can and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're getting just the regular. And but they're nice to have because you have them. You can make whatever recipe that you want
Mm-hmm.
taste the way you want. And that's something to keep in mind too. Flavors. Your household may have a whole different flavor profile from the rest of us.
Hey, look who's here. Margie's here.
Oh, how about that?
It's nice
Hello.
you joined us. She said she's at work, but she's listening.
All right.
If you just jumped on, you might have to catch the replay because we're about to wrap up. But
Yeah, Nitty T jumped on too. She's here.
Oh.
She says she's late.
Cottage pie
It's
made
okay.
with
Oh,
corn
cottage
nuts.
pie.
Now I thought cottage pie was with lamb and shepherd's pie was
Right,
with
was
ground
with
beef,
beef.
or vice versa. I'll mix it up, but I make
No,
mine with
I
ground beef.
know
I don't like lamb.
shepherd's pies I thought was with beef.
Yeah, so cottage pie is with the lamb
Mhm,
and then some other
mhm.
kind of mint stuff in it.
Yeah, but
Um,
orzo pasta, chickpeas, cucumber, tomato, and any type of vinaigrette. A good cold pasta salad.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
So
Uh,
Christina says she's going to have to watch the replay also. You know what, guys? We have had a lot of fun tonight. And I tell you what, Miss Leona, you want to talk a little bit about your sourdough?
Yes, yes. One thing to keep in mind at this point, I have our sourdough. I try on the weekend to make sure that by Sunday that sourdough recipe is ready to go. So I'm just giving y'all a heads up. This Sunday, that's not going to happen because I'm not at home.
Mhm.
But I will have
You
one.
didn't bring Liz with you?
Yeah, I didn't. And only because we had to pull out quick. But normally I travel with my sourdough. And which everybody thinks is so funny. And they're looking at you like, what is that? And so they don't know. But, I have learned that there is just so much that you can do with your sourdough that is not even related to bread.
Mhm.
And so, it is well worth having your sourdough mixture with you. And in fact, I found out from talking to a doctor last week. I was telling him, he was asking me, a little bit of information. I told him what I did and that we were making sourdough bread. And he said, wow, fermented food is at the top of the list. And that it is one of the best things that you can put into your family's bodies. Aww.
Wednesday's bites are the stuff. Oh, that is too cute.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you, Tia.
sweet.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. And so just keep that in mind for those of you that made your starter and you've got that discard that you might think is running over. When you're making your gravy, put some of that sourdough discard in there. Anywhere that you're going to use flour, put a little bit of discard in there because you're adding nutrition to your family's meal.
Yeah, and I made the cornbread and I found that I had to add a little extra moisture for the cornbread. But yeah, it's really nice. Oh, and I made some pancakes too. We have those too.
Oh, good.
Oh, so Vicky said she really enjoyed tonight. She hopes we'll do more videos like this, especially for the upcoming fall and winter seasons. Well, we'll just have to if you guys like this. I wasn't sure how you guys might. But one of the things that we like to do is empower you to be better homemakers, to be better home cooks, to be able to put food on the table for your family. That's what we're trying to do because, we've been there, done that. Our kids are grown adults. They got their own kids and we got grandkids that we are spoiling. And they're like, Mom, you didn't spoil us like that. No, we didn't. But we get to spoil the grandkids. But we want to help you learn some of the skill sets that we learned long ago. So if there's something you want us to teach you, just tell us and we'll try to do that. But hopefully you've been able to see how you can use your pantry staples and look in that pantry, that refrigerator or that freezer and say, okay, I got pasta, I got some kind of a protein, whether it's in a can or it's some kind of meat or some kind of bean. I got some green veggies, and it could be canned vegetables, frozen vegetables.
Or frozen.
I got it all. And I got some flavor boosters like ketchup, mustard, salt, pepper, various spices. You got your oils and vinegars to create flavor with that. And you can put a delicious nutritional meal on the table. Absolutely. You may not like rice and beans every day or beans and pasta every day, but you can make it taste good and it can be healthy and nutritious for your family.
And you can make it taste different each time because those beans are very versatile. So that's what you want, something that's versatile, that's on your shelf.
And then for those of you that want to learn how to do water bath canning, because one of the things that I showed you guys that I had made earlier was my homemade taco sauce right here. And I did can it in a different jar. I poured it in this jar tonight, so it was just easier for my husband to find it. And Leona thought it was chili sauce because this is the Heinz chili sauce jar bottle. But I saved them and I repurposed them. But I do have a course on water bath canning. It is linked in the description box below. So if you want to learn how to water bath can, click on that, check it out. I'd appreciate that. And of course, if you need an apron, check out Apron Diva, and that link is in the description box as well. And we've been on a minute, so we're going to have
we have
next week. Good night.
This has been great. Bye, ladies.